Hey, yo, black man, what's happening? Peace, man. Yo, my brothers, man, you're righteous, Salute, big ups, because you guys, the support I get is what makes me want to keep making the content. Like I said before, I was losing the flame, but after I checked my notifications the most recent time, and you guys have given me a lot more support, man. Subscriber account, my subscriber number has jumped up, the views have jumped up, and that goes to show that, yo, it's somebody out here who rocks with my content. Again, I'm not making content for the collective of black men. I'm making the content for the 10%, because guess what? I truly believe that I'm not the only person experiencing what I'm talking about. I know there's other guys, because guess what? I personally met them. But the reality is, you're not going to just bump into the 10%, because you have the Tyrones and you have the simps. And the reality is, man, simp and Tyrone, they go hand in hand. Out of 10, the majority of black, that's why I said I make the content for the 10%. Out of 10 guys you come across, you have to realize it's either going to be Tyrone or a simp. The 10%, yo, we move a certain kind of way. And as far as location wise, I told you dudes, if you are a part of the 10% and you're somewhere in the south, you have to escape. And once you escape, man, listen, you will see the difference. If you think I'm lying, man, just lock in. Try to escape. And watch how, as you're trying to escape, people are trying to pull you back. Because one thing about it, I think people can see that. Like, when people can see that you want to leave, when people can see that you want to escape, even if you're not talking about it, it's like an aura off of you, man. It just oozes off of you. People come around you, they can feel it. They know when you're fed up. They know when you're tired. They know when you don't have no more energy for the BS no more. You know what I'm saying? And in this particular video, what I really want to talk about is the women and passports. So before I get to the passport thing, let's talk about the women, man. Again, a lot of you guys, you're still stuck in those southern states, surrounded by the 55% of black people who live down there, and nothing really against the race as a whole. I mean, it has its problems, but we're talking about the women of the group. And like I said, let's talk about the quality, right? Now, I'm gonna talk about some stuff real quick, because since I've been gone, I've dated 3 chicks, 2 Spanish women and a white girl. And it's funny because I didn't have to shoot as many shots. And someone left a comment on my channel months ago, and they were saying how, oh, you just mad because black women not checking for you. First of all, why would I be mad about that? After a while, you just get used to it. You realize, okay, in their eyes, I hate to say, and I don't feel like this about myself, but in their eyes, I'm a piece of shit. You feel me? I'm like, yo, you guys have ever been outside and you accidentally stepped on some dog poop, and you like, damn, man, you trying to smear it into the ground? Or when guys smoke a cigarette and they throw it on the ground and they smash the cigarette butt into the ground. I'm like, yo, that's how they treat you. So they treat you like a last option. They treat you like you ain't nothing. So after a while, man, you kind of just get mentally used to being treated that way. And not only treated that way, but you're looked at as useless or useful, but in the wrong ways, because they're not looking at you because, oh, you keep yourself well groomed, you work hard, you do your thing, you're responsible. No, if anything, those traits are negatives against you. You feel me? And going back to the 2 Latinas and the snow bunny, I didn't have to shoot as many shots to get them. And not only get them, hold on, this is the part that blew me away. When I was, talking to these chicks, because we did date, we did do our thing, but in the process of just talking to them, because that's what I really want to focus on. Just talking to them, it was so what's the word I'm looking for? It was so vibrant. You know what I mean? It was the way how I was able to have a regular conversation. You feel me? We wasn't talking about no celebrities. We wasn't talking about drama. We wasn't talking about oh, rap or just the nonsense. Because I don't. When I sit back and think about it, have I ever had a thought-provoking conversation with them? You know who I'm talking about. I don't have to keep saying BW, AA 2000, the Terminator 2000. You know what I mean? I don't have to keep saying it. You guys know who I'm talking about. Have you ever had a thought-provoking conversation with them? And if you did, have you realized those type of conversations turn them off? They get bored. They don't want to talk no more. They start giving you one word answers. I'm like, what the fuck? You feel me? Then here I found myself talking to a snow bunny, and this is recently. I'm like, dude, we just had a lot of things in common. Like all through text message too. Like we're having text messages. I'm sorry, we're texting and we're texting like paragraphs. Yo, when was the last time you dude texted a paragraph to a black woman and you wasn't arguing with her, expressing how you feel, oh, you ignoring me, blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I don't know. Maybe that's just my experiences. Again, I highly doubt my experiences are anecdotal, man. I know it's other guys going through this because I've heard this from other men. You feel me? You start to realize the small things because I think that's what really counts when it comes to dating people are the small things. You know what I mean? So again, something as simple as being able to have a conversation, something as simple as, okay, I'm going to schedule a date and she doesn't flake. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least from my experiences, right? And to that person who said, oh, you mad because black women not checking for you, and someone else also said it might be the same person, but someone else also said that I said that non-black women are easy. Yeah, they're easy to talk to. They're easy to interact with. You feel me? And this is the thing about it that makes it all the more better. Again, I'm not Chris Brown. I'm not August Alsina. I'm not your favorite rapper or your favorite NFL player. I'm not looking for a woman to kiss the ground I walk on. I'm not expecting celebrity treatment, but I am expecting to be treated like a human being, a walking and breathing organism. Again, I'm not some out of shape, nasty, dirty looking dude. I'm a human being, bro. I take care of myself. I expect to at least be treated like that. And see, that's the thing with when it comes to them, they go out their way to treat you bad. They go out their way to waste your time. I mentioned plenty of times how even when I was just sitting back doing nothing, they still approach to waste my time. And the thing with bunnies, Latinas, and Asian women, it's like, yo, they unless she swallowed the pill about black men, then all right, that's the difference. But even if she did, they're not going out their way to try and fuck you over. Like they're not doing that. If anything, they'll just try to avoid you. And if she has to interact with you, okay, she'll keep it cordial. You feel me? It's a base level of respect. At least when it comes to them, yo, there is no respect. There is no respect. They all, bro. I think I mentioned in one of my videos, right when I was in Atlanta, I had a black woman, the manager I had. I talk about her all the time. Yo, I don't know if she was trying to call me gay or what, but for whatever reason, that morning when I was getting off work, I don't know how the conversation even got to this point, but she brought up something about, oh, if a man is gay or not by looking at his eyes. I'm like, what? So you can tell if a man is a homosexual by looking at his eyes? And I told her, I said, I'm not. just staring into men's eyes, and especially if we're not talking. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to hold eye contact while you're having a conversation with somebody, but to just be staring off into somebody's eyes, no. And she said, "Oh yeah, well you can tell if a man is gay by looking at his eyes." Then she was staring so, bro. The way how she looked at me, like you can kind of tell what she was insinuating. And I'm like, who wants to deal with that? Who is examining people to that degree? Like when I go out in public, I'm not looking at people or men, regardless of race, and oh, he's gay. And oh, then I know he's gay by staring at his eyes. And see, that's why I said, bro, they believe they can read you. Nobody else is hyper criticizing their group like that. I mean, again, I'm not saying they're not doing it, but not to that same degree. That's what I'm saying, bro. It's like you I don't know, man. I don't know. That's why I'm just so glad I'm not around that energy no more. And like I mentioned in the last video, stuff like that, it fuels you, bro. I don't want to say I hate them because it would practically mean I hate myself. No, I don't hate them. But proximity to them, being in close interactions with them dudes, you realize, bro, especially when you're the 10%, it's like they just have it out for you, bro. Like you're enemy number one, public enemy number one. Nah, 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 nah. We gonna use him as cannon fodder. We gonna use him as bait. Nah, nah, nah. Screw him over. Tyrone's the best. Like, come on, dude. That's just foolishness. And then, like I said, when it comes to non-black women, it's like, bro, that kind of treatment doesn't even exist. You might have a few who operate like that, but guess what? The ones who operate like that, they have black female friends. And I would tell you guys, if you do look for non-black chicks and she has black female friends, yo, don't even mess with that. Because I'm telling you, what's the saying? Um, it takes one spoiled apple to ruin the bunch or ruin the batch, whatever you call it. You know what I'm saying? Or the apple don't fall too far from the tree. I mean, bro, it is what it is. It's the fact that yo, they're poison. They're really poison for other chicks, and they would teach other groups of women to hyper criticize black men when it's funny because they'll try and paint the stereotype on you when you don't even fit the stereotype, or every negative connotation they will put that on you and try and put that in those chicks head to go against you. I'm like, bro, come on. Like I said, dude, anybody who's listening to my channel and you have dated non-black women, and especially because I said I don't make this content for Tyrone. If you over 6 feet, you swole, dreadlocks, tattoos, gold fronts in your mouth and all that other stuff, dude, toting guns, selling drugs, this content ain't for you. Again, I'm 5'10". Yo, if you talking about height wise, guys who are under 6 feet and you listen to my content, right? And you've experienced what I'm talking about, the negatives and the positives. And when it comes to the positives of dealing with non-black chicks, you guys cannot sit here and tell me that those minute and large differences in between dating within these other groups and your own group, bro, you realize like, damn, like all you can say is damn, and then this is the part that's funny, right? Those women when they meet you, the non-black ones, right? When they meet you, she's not like doing anything particularly special. Because mind you, if she was dealing with someone from her own group, this is how she would behave. This is how she would act. This is how she would treat that man. Now, granted, I do believe when people decide to interracially date, they do tend to be on their best behavior because you want to be a good representation for your group. So again, even if things don't work out with you and that particular woman, I would still want her to give brothers a chance. You feel me? And vice versa. She would still want you to give snow bunnies a chance. She would still want you to give Latinas a chance and Asian women a chance. So people tend to be on their best behavior. Granted, yes. But the way how she would treat her men, or her man of her group, She's not treating him or treating you any better than she would treat that guy. This is just how they naturally interact together. And you realize, damn, black man, you're getting a low quality. You're getting less and having to do more, while other men do less and receive more. Well, when you see that, I'm like, yo, what? It's disgusting. But then, like I said, a lot of you dudes, you live, in places where you don't have access to other women because, again, in those places, the women took the pill. You feel me? They probably feel some kind of way about black men. It's a stigma on you as it already is. Their parents probably brainwashed them about black men, and you got all those kind of other things like that. And the same thing overseas. So now let me get into that as well, right? Ultimately, like I said in the last video, if you guys haven't left those states in the South, right? I would say this, right? Because you need to take this into steps. And you can do either or, but I think what will make a good transition, first leave those southern states, right? Then you go up north, you go to the West Coast, and from there you branch out to moving overseas. And the reason why I say you go there first before going overseas is because if you're leaving the South, going to these places overseas, I think that you probably haven't had the time to adjust to non-black women yet. You feel me? A lot of dudes go overseas, they start to simp, they'll pay for box and all that kind of stuff because you're being exposed to something that you didn't have access to. You feel me? And then when you compare the treatment that you get over here to the treatment that you was getting over there, it's like, it's so much of a 180, and you realize I'm on the other side of the spectrum compared to that negative BS I was dealing with back in the States. It kind of really, it's overwhelming for a lot of guys, at least from what I'm seeing. A lot of guys start to go crazy, and then you come back to the States if you have to, and now you're angry because, yo, you are back in that environment. Because the reality is, most guys who travel overseas, it's only a few guys who are actually able to live out the country full time. Most guys are weekend warriors. Most guys are leaving for 2 weeks or leaving for 30 days and coming right back. So then you're coming right back to where? You feel me? Like the passport move, yo, in my personal opinion, yes, travel to places that you want to possibly live, you know what I'm saying, to see how you can assimilate and how you can fit in there. But if you're not in that position where you can just bounce for 6 months, 12 months, yo, I wouldn't really focus on trying to go overseas. And again, if you have to return, the reality is that 90% of guys will have to return. Look at where you're returning to. You going right back to Atlanta. You going right back to Alabama. You going right back to Florida. You going right back to South Carolina, Mississippi, Texas, Tennessee, Memphis. Man, you guys are going right back to these environments where it's gonna make you angry, bro. I don't think that's a healthy transition. I say you guys should, again, if you like Latinas, you like Asian women, bro, go to the West Coast. You feel me? You like snow bunnies, go to the West Coast. I think the West Coast is probably the better answer for a lot of dudes to go. Yes, it's more expensive, but I think, especially for the guys in the 10%, I think the guys in the 10%, we're not really worried too much about expenses because guess what? Black women haven't allowed us to, you know, wreck our lives in certain ways to where expenses are a problem. Again, me, I don't have children. I don't have child support. Shit, damn sure don't have no girlfriends. Um, you know what I'm saying? I don't have massive debt hanging over my head. So as far as expenses, I'm not really worried about that too much. But I do believe that when you're on the West Coast or up north, because I also recommend up north as well, You get to have a different experience with non-black women. Again, I think you need that exposure to them, and the reason why I say the West Coast is because the black population over there isn't as heavy. Now, for some of you guys, oh, you might think, oh, man, nah, man, I'm trying to live around black people and stuff. Well, if you're concerned with living around black people, then I don't think leaving the states, leaving America would be a good option for you unless you're gonna go to Africa or maybe like Salvador Bahia. But again, Salvador is it's a language barrier. The reality is most black men aren't gonna take the time to learn Portuguese to get to Salvador, so that's out the question. Again, a lot of you guys probably most likely aren't gonna go to Africa. So the reality is the reason why I suggest the West Coast is because when you do meet snow bunnies, when you do meet Latinas, when you do meet Asian women, you're meeting a version of her that's close to the root. In some cases, not all, because you do have first and second and third generation foreigners on the West Coast as well. But you do get to meet, you know, a lesser version of what it is from the continent or from that particular country outside the states. And again, it's about gaining the experience and the familiarity with that treatment, dude. Because again, I've seen how guys go overseas and they lose their mind, and then on top of that, guys leave the country and come right back. Again, weekend warrior, or you're going for 7 days, you're going for 14, 30 days. Like, bro, that's not long enough. And then you have to come right back to these places where you don't even have options to date outside your race if you wanted to. Like, again, you know what I'm saying? And then, like I said, with the passport thing, you know, I'm making for the 10%. Again, Tyrone, he's not leaving the country. The simp, he's not leaving the country, let alone the South. You know what I'm saying? But with the passport, dude, again, find the country that you don't mind being in. Find the country that you would enjoy being in. And if there is a language barrier, I think that's even better because you're not going to have to interact with the simps and Tyrones. The reality is they're not coming to where you're coming to. And if they do, bro, they're stuck in the tourist areas. I think the biggest thing when you're trying to pick a country to go and live, if that country has a language barrier, again, for the 10% of black men, you understand how much you put yourself ahead of the other tourist gringos and local men because you took the time to invest in learning the language. Bro, that's what I'm telling you, dude. You can have the life that you want. It's about putting in that work. Again, I think guys should move to the West Coast or up north. I personally suggest the West Coast because depending on what kind of woman you're looking for, you're gonna get a a lower quality of what she could have been. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, yes, America has a bunch of foreigners, first, second, and third generation. But and even myself, I'm first generation Caribbean American. So you're gonna get a lower quality of what she could have been. You feel me? And again, if she's first generation, dude, she still has those traditional aspects to her. So again, it's about that exposure, dude. And like I said, it really depends on which group of women that you want. I say up north as well because you do have Tyrones up there as well, but I have met a lot of women from up north where, listen, dude, she wants a respectable man. She wants a solid man. You know what I'm saying? Now you do have to kind of fight through things. Well, not fight Tyrone, but you have to fight the fact that he's in your area up north. Like Latinas on the East Coast, I'm not gonna lie to you, they do mess with Tyrones. So you have to be wary of that. But in my personal opinion, from experiences, I've never had trouble with Latinas or the white chicks or the Asians on the East Coast. Only in the South where you don't really have access to them, mainly because of proximity. You feel me? Like black people live on one side of town in the South. You feel me? And everybody else lives opposite ends of the city, versus where up north and on the West Coast, you're rubbing shoulders every day with these people. So, they see you. And when they see you, and see, let me get into this part too. When they see you constantly and you present yourself in again, you're clean cut, proper, dressed well, good hygiene. You feel me? You taking care of yourself. Come on, bro. That's what they want to see. Good representation, man. I think that's really what I want to talk about in this video was the representation. Because even when it comes to dealing with them, you can represent yourself that way. It's the fact that they don't respect it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't see black women with these clean cut dudes. And it's funny because, where I'm at on the West, it's like every now and then I'll bump into one of them. And, I have a Tinder profile. I don't really use it like that. I kind of prefer more to approach, but every now and then I will swipe, I will look. So I mean, actually, one of the Latinas I talked about, I met her off of there. You know what I'm saying? But I will match with a black chick every now and then. I match them immediately because I'm not looking for you. You know what I'm saying? And I told you guys before, I made plenty of videos of women, black women specifically on the West Coast, talking about how, listen, they leave in California, they leave in Seattle, they leave in San Francisco, San Diego, LA, they leave in Vegas, they leave in Phoenix, bro, because the reality is on the West Coast as a black man, I'm telling you brothers from experience, being over here, bro, no one's checking for them. They're alone, they're single, and they probably will give the 10% guy a chance. But yo, by the time you get over here, bro, you already know what time it is, dude. You're done. You've already been treated so bad, and that's why they run that. That's why they run down south to go find Tyrone and have them simps back. The reality is, yo, dude's not simping over here. You feel? Well, at least not for them, bro. Listen. I'm keeping it stacked with you dudes. I done met guys I became friends with, Latino dudes, Asian dudes, even other brothers. Yo, I'm trying to go get me a snow bunny. Yo, I'm trying to go get me a Latino. Well, of course, the Hispanic guy's not saying he's looking for the Latino, but a lot of dudes out here, man, they're looking for bunnies. You feel me? Because a lot of bunnies are open to black guys. You know what I'm saying? Or non-black men. I'm sorry, non-white men. You feel me? So reality is, man, like I said, that's just a little game for you guys. Um, on the West Coast, because it's not a heavy presence of black men, the Tyrones don't really exist. They're still over here, but they don't exist in high numbers. Like 10% men, I think we outnumber them because I've seen more brothers over here smile from ear to ear compared to when I lived on the East Coast and in the South. And guess what? These brothers are smiling with a bunny on his arm, a Latina on his arm, an Asian woman on his arm. And you know what? Just to give you guys, some answers are like, bro, where? Bro, Phoenix, Vegas, San Diego, LA. I can't speak for San Francisco. I heard some stuff about Oregon. Again, I haven't been there. I know somebody personally in Oregon, and he's told me some good things. And Seattle. I personally know two guys right now in Seattle, and listen, guys are doing well. I've heard about San Francisco. I haven't been there to actually confirm it. I don't personally know anybody living there, but I know guys who've been there or lived there in the past. But as of right now, currently, I can't attest to it. But off of what I've been told, just the whole West Coast, bro, every city I've named, you will see brothers doing well. I'm not talking about Tyrone. He trapped out, kicking their front doors, scamming it. No, brothers with a career, brothers who are accomplishing something. So I'm like, man, listen, black man. Reality is, man, the door is wide open for you guys. You feel me? you got to get over there, or again, just get out the South, man. I'm not saying you can't do good up north either, but I'm just saying you will still have interactions with them. So, anyways, black man, I think that's all I got to say for this one. But I'm out. Peace.